can be misunderstood. I can be misunderstood, yeah. There'll be good days and bad days, like the preacher said it would. Like the preacher said it would. All I ask is you will try loving me. All I ask is you will try loving me. 'Cause loving me ain't easy. I know it ain't.
What's going on, and welcome to Black Kings Free Game. Kings and Queens, it has been a few months of family. Everybody's been up, they've been down, they've been warm, they've been cold.
Yes.
And we still get to come here and fellowship and give you guys the information. I have to give a round of applause to Representative Al Williams for being here with us on today. And I mean, it's cold out there.
It is cold.
It's cold. And just moving around, I know there's probably people at the parade, and I know they are cold. Yeah. So, but it's been a pretty good week. So we're going to start off with King Brooks, because you guys, we rarely get to see him, and with it being, election time, the CIA, the governmental agency the place he works at.
There you go.
He's really not here often, Lubin.
Interesting.
Yes. I also want to introduce Jean Lubin, to the show. He is an active duty military soldier right here at Fort Stewart.
Thank you for your service.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you for being here.
Appreciate it.
How was your week, Lubin?
I can't complain. I got a lot of things I wanted to get out the way.
Okay. How long you been in the military?
It's about to be a month and I believe 2 to 3 months now. A year and 2 to 3 months.
I was about to say a month. I'm like, dang.
You fresh.
Ooh, yeah, you fresh. Representative Al Williams.
Yes, sir.
How was your week, sir?
It was great. Best days of my life.
Best
I love it.
day of my life.
Hanging in there.
I love it. I love
Busy
it.
but great. Busy.
Yes. And with this cold weather, are you enjoying it? But we're used to it being cold sometimes. It's like what
As long as it doesn't stay cold and it never snows every once in a while. It'll be 70, 68, 70 in a few days.
right.
You know what? It's a funny you should say that. I saw this post the other day. They say the weather around here is like lottery numbers now. Because one day is 70s, the next day is in the 50s and 30s or 40s.
Crazy.
Yeah. So what is it like when you work at Hart? Never mind. Anyways,
we go back and forth. Don't pay no mind to him.
Gotcha.
Look, he doesn't think that we know who he works for. Okay. Every time something major happens
I work for myself.
he's out of town, and for some reason he's always 100 or 150 miles away from the location, even if it's out of country. It's like, okay, sure,
That sounds a little suspicious.
sure.
Hey,
Sure.
coincidence happen.
You ask him what to do, he says, I work on computers. Hey, but Willie, in your travels, where have you been recently? Go ahead and enlighten us.
I've been, New York, Chicago, Atlanta.
Oh, okay. Nothing out of country.
No, I've been trying to stay local. With everything that's going on. Trying to stay in country. Now next year I can't make that promise, so there may be some opportunities to go.
I bet
across them.
You see how he said that? Now next year. Oh, I wonder why. Okay.
But yeah, it's been good.
Okay, cool.
Can't complain.
We're glad to have you here.
I'm happy to be here. I'm very happy to be here.
And look, Lubin. I met Lubin probably about 3 months ago.
Okay.
And when he came in the office, he was full of just optimism. He was ready to get a hold of life.
I love that.
And he saw this big black guy with a beard, and he was like, man, he looked like he might know a little something. And
That was an understatement.
look,
So who was the guy?
huh?
Who was the guy?
What you mean?
Who was the guy?
The guy what?
That he said that had a big beard and that he might know something.
Oh, it was me. Yeah, that's me. I'm talking about me.
Okay.
Yeah. You know, I'm not the smartest person in the world. You know, just a little old simple me, Lubin. But the conversation, it was off the chain, man. I really enjoyed the conversation, and it's refreshing because not too long ago, I used to look at older people and be like, yeah, I was talking to this older guy. Now I'm like, look at this young man.
I know, right? It's weird now,
switched
right?
up.
You know, people calling me. Oh, no.
No offense,
I once was young. But youth is wasted on the young, so don't worry.
Oh, yeah, right. Because you let us tell it, if we were your age, it was so many things we'd be doing different.
Believe me.
I mean, so many things. But no, we had a real good conversation.
good.
And today I knew that we were going to have our representative on, and there's some things that he can learn from him.
Yes.
You know, and speaking of that, when you think of representatives, in your mind it just automatically pop up Representative Al Williams in Liberty County.
Yes.
He is just a trailblazer. He is someone that I look up to. He is someone that will let me know when I need to be let known something. Do you understand? And it's just the freedom to be able to talk to him and have a conversation, and we get clarity on it, and not somebody that just, you know, whatever, you know, it's real conversations.
Yes.
And the genuineness about it, I really appreciate it.
Thank you, sir.
I really
Very
do.
kind of you.
Yes, sir. No, thank you.
Yeah, I'm just glad I can be in your presence. I mean, to be
Right.
honest with you, you know what I'm saying? Because a lot of people don't get the opportunity to be able to ask the questions and to get the knowledge
Thank
and to
you.
be able to, you know, to get access to you. You know what I mean?
Yes.
So, I mean, it's a blessing.
Thank
I appreciate it.
Yes.
Very much too kind, believe me.
And it's not the same fact that we share the same family name, but
That helps.
Y'all don't share this. It's your first name, Willie. It's your last name is Brooks. You just see.
I am a
I don't understand
Williams.
it. You.
We had this discussion.
My great
My grandmother
mama.
had 17 kids. 17 kids.
Wow.
Williams.
Go forth and multiply.
Yes. And that was serious. You did not.
17.
She did not.
So
play.
yeah, I'm that Williams clan is a very big clan.
Yes.
So you have to be related. That's what you're saying.
He might be down on the train.
Maybe, but you know, every time I see a Williams, I always have to give my family represent to all my family back home about Austin.
Hey,
Val. That's what we call it. So you can understand how we feel, Jean. Look, Color Purple. Now, earlier I asked this young man, I said, hey, you know Color Purple, you know,
The movie?
Alice Walker? The person that wrote the book.
Oh, the book. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, but they basically followed the book, right?
Yep.
I said, you're going to be in the presence of somebody that known Alice Walker and spoke to Alice Walker, probably had conversations, you know, with Alice Walker. And you know what he told me on? What's the color purple? I said, no!
oh my goodness.
Generations,
Oh, my goodness.
generations have skipped.
Why?
The disconnect is
It's like asking, what is the Mona Lisa?
Thank you. Thank
You gotta realize, I grew up very Haitian. Like,
Okay.
I grew up, I would say, pretty poor. So the things
We all
that-
did, but go ahead.
Yeah, I'm trying to look at him.
I didn't really have access to the black entertainment scene, and my parents being, you know, immigrants, not also being into the black U.S. entertainment industry. So it's like I didn't know. I just grew up off of.
Let me enlighten you on something.
For sure.
So, that's the beauty of connecting with as many people as possible,
right.
because you're going to learn stuff from them. They're going to learn stuff from you. There's a lot of things that you grew up in your culture that we have no idea, that we can't relate.
Exactly.
You can say something, I don't know, we don't know nothing about that. But that's the beauty of it. That's the beauty of connecting with people.
Isn't it great?
And
One of the most beautiful things about the Haitian culture, not only it was the first free blacks in the Western Hemisphere, the first free black country for African Americans or Haitian Americans, but probably more so than that, one of the greatest generals of all times led that country, Toussaint Louverture. Toussaint Louverture defeated Napoleon. He was one of the great generals the world has ever known. But through shenanigans and backroom dealing, Western powers stole the identity of Haiti and locked them out and created a terrible, terrible culture for their own benefit. But Haiti will always be known as the first free black country in the Western Hemisphere.
see,
And
stuff
if
you
I'm,
ain't gonna get anywhere else.
exactly, I don't think they still haven't been conquered or anything.
No, they are still free, but what happens is if you live here and the water is here and somebody cuts off all the water, your thirst kills you. And what happens is the gangs that have taken over the government of Haiti is strictly out of need. There is nothing else to do except extortion. Took away all the jobs and everything.
That's like imagine you put a couple of people in a cave and don't give them food and expect them not to eat each other.
Yes,
Exactly.
It's tough, and Haiti is an example of the difference in what we do and who we are. And when I say we, I use it loosely, I'm speaking of the government, is that we made Cubans who ran away to come to the shores of America. We created the wetland, dry land doctrine, where if you were Cuban and you came across the strait into Key West, if you could just touch dry land, you were granted citizenship.
Wow.
Haitians, unfortunately, came across in bateaux and homemade boats, and when they got here, they were put on boats and sent back to Haiti.
Wow.
They weren't granted the same rights that Cubans got.
And another thing with that is the fact that the idea was going around where they were saying like, oh, Haitian people are doing or aren't as hardworking, just African descent period, whether immigration or not, aren't as hardworking, which I believe is to be false when you're allowing only a certain group of demographics a special amenity when it comes to coming to the U.S. So when people see that specific group coming in, working hard, when the other group doesn't get that opportunity to do so, of course the narrative is going to be like, now, oh, this group of ethnicity are hardworking, they do this, do that, and the other group doesn't.
Yeah.
Stereotyping.
Stereotyping.
Always been stereotyping. Nobody works. We worked so hard until we built the Capitol. Free. You know,
There you go.
right? We've never known anything but hard work. We had to tend the fields and crop the tobacco and pick the cotton. We worked for nothing.
Yes.
And it's an insult to call us lazy. But we took nothing and made something out of it.
Out of it.
Insult personally to my ancestors.
Facts. And just honestly speaking, any person that I probably wouldn't even know if they were Haitian or not, but if I ever found out that they were Haitian, any Haitian that I know is a very hardworking person.
With the great entrepreneurial spirit.
Entrepreneurial spirit.
Build
Yes.
businesses and
Yes.
go to it. Go to it.
First generation, most of the
Yes.
first generations are entrepreneurs.
And people, that's why we need to start changing even them having to be able to stereotype us with these type of things, because remember, everybody's grouped into the same, because if we look alike, it don't matter. You're just, you see, in Haiti you were Haitian,
Oh, 1,000%.
here you're black.
We live off
Doesn't
of
matter, man.
we live
Yes.
off of stereotypes and
Yes.
labels in America. We have to.
The funny thing is, growing up Haitian, it wasn't what you said is true now, but back then when I was a kid, I don't know if it was probably because I was surrounded by a bunch of kids my age that didn't know any better.
You're still a kid.
You're right. But they were just very like adamant about, oh, you're Haitian, so you must go back to your country, or you're Haitian, you got to go back on the banana boat, go back. It's just a lot of like discussing rhetoric about Haitian people.
You grew up in Fort Lauderdale?
Yeah.
Of course.
Oh,
Yeah.
Lord.
It's called the scars of slavery. See, you can be free on paper and a slave in your mind.
Yes.
When you're a victim of that kind of intellect, what has happened is that you are so convinced that you are better, and that you see, I grew up in a world where to be called black when I was a child was fighting words. Nobody wanted to be black. You black, or if you split a verb and you were a geechee, or you can't talk. But that's what we were taught, to belittle each other. That does not happen naturally. See, when all the westerns that you watched on television, there were no black cowboys, although we were some of the original cowboys.
Yes.
You didn't see any on television. You didn't see us. And so it's easy to get your mind bent. One of the big keys for the Supreme Court decision when Brown versus Topeka, Kansas, in integrated schools in the South, Dr. Franklin from North Carolina he was a sociologist. He did a survey and he put dolls in front of people, young people, and said, pick a doll. And all of them picked a white doll.
Oh,
Yes.
Because they were taught that black was not beautiful.
Yep. It was. Yeah, black was ugly.
Franklin Frazier was the guy that did that.
And it's amazing to me. One thing we got to realize is there's been a lot of psychological damage done.
Oh, yeah.
And it was done subconsciously.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's hard to come to terms with that, man. It's like, how did they give us their idea of what it is?
Well, what was the saying? I don't need to own slaves if I can control the mind. Because if I can convince the mind that you're still captured, then
Yes.
I don't need to have you in bondage.
So
because
you got the mind.
you got the mind.
We have sayings. If you're white, you're right. If you're black, get back. If you're brown, stick around.
And you know, a lot of people don't understand how powerful words are.
Yes.
Power of death. lies in.
Words are
And life. The thing is, there is a wine vineyard. And I went there with Dr. Awe and Dr. Akeem. We went there to have some lunch. So I'm looking around and they got these old postcards up. And it's the one with the black people with the big lips and everything.
Still got them, huh?
Listen to me now. I'm telling you. And I'm looking around and I'm noticing this. So we're already in there. We did, they had like a little small wine tasting and everything. But the more and more that we kept walking through, I kept seeing pictures. And then we finished the meal. Meal was cool. I went to the cash register. And plain as day, they have a little sign on there. The sign says, "No one gives their tyrants more power than the people they enslaved." Now, this is on the register. And I looked at it, and I pulled out my camera, and I took a picture of it. I wish I should have. Man, I'll find that picture one day, and I'm going to pull it up and show it on the screen. But nobody gives their tyrants more power than the people they enslaved. It's up there.
yeah.
And when I took a picture, the lady looked at me and said, what you taking a picture of? I said, that saying you have on your cash register. She said, oh, you kind of understand what that means?
Kind of understand.
What?
Crazy.
I said, ma'am, I totally understand it. That's why I'm taking a picture of that. She said, you know, all these years I've been out here, you're the only person that noticed that and took a picture of it because you understand what it means. And she ain't had no shame in it. There's no shame in it.
I have a question.
Yes.
I'm just curious about what you guys think. This might be a little bit off topic, but what do you guys think about the increase in tariffs for like knowing that Americans are consumers?
Well, we're not gonna get too deep into that. But I respect your answer. I'll say something, and we're gonna let the wisdom lead us on that. Just know this: tariffs can be bad, and tariffs can be good. It all depends on where it's set and where the limits are. I mean, one thing you know is that you're a consumer.
Yeah.
And if somebody is making 90% of, or you're consuming 90% of what they make, right? If that ever stops, right, that economy over there is going to suffer more than we would. We just wouldn't get that item. You get what I'm saying? But it's a lot of things to it. Did you want to say something about it?
Let me say this, that very honestly, the volume of a tariff decides, because when we refer to the 90% that China sends in, it's not going to cost China a dime. You will pay for it, because your goods that you bring in from China will go up the amount, whatever that tariff is, because you're not going to stop bringing it in. When you bring stuff from France, if they're caught on the tariff, that puts the price up. Consumers pay tariffs, not businesses. Because if I'm selling this glass for $1, and all of a sudden the price of glass goes up $1, and I'm going to increase it to $3.
Exactly.
It won't. You just have to pass on whatever is attached to the item, and we have a consuming appetite for Chinese products, and we're not going to lose it. And between China and the things that they send in, it's just going to go up. The average car, because we import so many parts, the average car go up $3,000 to $5,000. The people who are making them will not absorb that. They pass it on to the consumer.
Yes.
And
go ahead. No, go ahead.
with the consumer thing about the cars, there's a car business actually going out of business because of how, I guess, bad it's going, and there are a bunch of car dealerships marking up prices on brand new vehicles because a lot of people aren't being consumers anymore, buying the latest car, sticking with their old models, fixing it up, doing what they got to do. And when corporations see that as consumers we aren't being consumers, what are they going to do? They're going to exploit other third world countries.
Well, I sure wish what happened in Liberty County, because folk buy new cars here every day. And when they want an old car, they buy it to fix up as a toy.
Yes.
Man,
yes.
American consumer. I saw people all year. I couldn't understand. The economy's doing so bad. The economy's doing so bad. Folk would drive up, park a truck, $80,000 truck, tell the person to change out the tires and put dual exhausts on it while they complain about their car. Ain't $1 left this plant. It's all here. It just changed hands. It went in different directions.
You're right.
And speaking of changing hands, right? What we have now is a changing of hands on this property tax.
Okay.
Now let me tell you exactly why we have trailblazers in Liberty County. All right.
Trailblazers.
Representative Al Williams, there was a big mishap. There are people all over the state that didn't want this thing to happen. So they created something to try to sway the voters last minute, to tell people that something was bad when nobody just really didn't have a full understanding of what it was, right?
That's the key.
So our rep said, hey, we got to have a town hall meeting, and we need to have one now. And he got up there. I think he was joined by Mahoney, the lawyer. Mackerman. Excuse me.
Jim McDonald.
Okay, yes.
Jim McDonald.
He was there. Our mayor was there. And they got straight down to business. Started talking about it. So when I was listening, I was like, wait a minute now. Because everybody wants to complain. And especially about property taxes.
Yes.
Right? Nobody understands that even for a realtor like myself, that property taxes improve, we're selling more houses. More people can buy more houses without having to pay this high property tax. Okay? Now, what it basically is, and I'm gonna give my little synopsis of it, and I'm gonna let Aunt tell. But basically, people come through our town all day. They stop, they get gas, they go to Walmart, they eat, all of this, right? So what will happen is a percentage of that, and a tax will be taken every time someone spends money. So that means even if you don't live here, even if you don't pay taxes here, right? You're helping our economy. And at the end of that tax year, your property taxes, that money goes towards that. Which means, guess what? Your mortgage goes down.
Makes sense. I mean, makes perfect sense.
It makes perfect sense. Now, this was my opinion, in my opinion only. The reason I feel that people were against this bill is because no longer can you just take a family heired property. Like those people that had barely been getting by to pay their property taxes.
You can use that as an opportunity to take over the property.
And there you go. It's like these people have forgot about it. Now their property taxes are being taken care of.
Exactly.
It'll do better.
A lot of people have lost property because of that.
Now, I had to think about it, though. I didn't just come to this by happenstance. I was like, why in the world would somebody then have to think like a greedy person? That greed got to them. They're like, now I can't get these properties that I be buying at the courthouse steps when people forget to pay their property taxes. Now I actually got to go to a person and negotiate, because there's a lot of people of your complexion and my complexion that have lost their heirs property just because they couldn't keep up with the taxes.
Exactly right.
And I'm talking about maybe thousands of acres have been lost because of that. Thousands.
Yes, it's a game. I call it the game of life. And if you don't know the rules of the game and you don't know how to play,
yes,
it's the old rule. You either at the table or you're on the menu.
You're on the table.
You're on the menu. Let me have a piece of his arm and let me take his family tree.
You better learn early. You better learn early how to play the game.
Can you tell them and explain to them the bill name and a little bit about it?
It is Amendment 1022.
Okay.
And here's how a constitutional amendment works. It has to be introduced to amend the Constitution. But the amendment stands alone, but it does nothing if there's not what is known as enabling legislation. And that's House Bill 581 in this case.
Okay.
And what it does, it gives the state the right to have a statewide homestead exemption, which will cap all property taxes. And if you cap the property taxes, of course, we only have two taxing entities right now in Liberty County. That's Hinesville and Liberty County. And if you cap it, it's going to have an effect on the income of the municipality or the county, both. So to help relieve that, we came up with a SPLOSH, a special option sales tax, that you can use up to 1 cent to offset the losses from the capping. Now, this, you also have the right, when we cap it, you will take the money. This will bring in about $76 million or so over 5 years for Liberty County. One of the things you do is you have to, by state audit, reduce taxes based on the income there.
Okay.
We have estimated, and estimates are all over the place now, from 15 to 30% reduction in property taxes. And that becomes strong when you look at how taxes have gone up through the years. So that's to keep the county and the city whole. But And Mark, as you were saying, if you're coming through Hinesville and you stop and fill your tank up, we're going to get a piece of it.
Makes
If you
perfect sense.
buy a burger or something, we're going to get a piece of that with that 1 penny. So instead of you having to struggle with the whole tax load, you share it with those who spend money.
Yes.
And so it becomes a fairer way of distributing, and it'll be the people that will benefit are those who are burdened by taxes. Some folk complain about the taxes, but they have no problem paying them.
Oh, yeah.
And the income.
Yes.
Other people complain because when they pay their taxes, that cuts down on the grocery, heat, and everything because they don't have very much money.
Yeah.
Yes.
This will help people stay in their houses because taxes. I met a couple the night we had the town hall, and he said, I forgot how much he said he paid for his property years ago. He said, but he used to pay $400-500 a year. His taxes now are $12,000 a year.
Wow.
He literally has to set aside $1,000 a month to pay his taxes.
That's crazy.
And see, that is crazy. And so we have to cap it because you can't keep up with it elevating like it's elevating. So we had to put it in a position where people can hold on to their property, not be strained just by taxes. And so that's why we supported the constitutional amendment. Now, when it came out, we had people, a couple of people in particular, that emailed all over the state. One of them had run for state office before. But when we counted up on who voted for it to put it on the ballot, it was 168-0
Wow.
in the House. So folk who voted for it then said it was bad. That's like somebody shooting you and aimed at you and shot you and said, I'm sorry, I hope that didn't hurt. You see, that's crazy. But this bill is one of the few truly tax reforms. Now, it has its downsides. All legislation has its downsides. Because regardless of what people would have you think, sales tax is a regressive tax. Because what you said now is somebody who doesn't own any property or anything, living in subsidized housing, is now helping you pay your property taxes.
Yes.
By their taxes going up. That's the regressive part of it. But it is the one solution that I've supported it 100%, and it won big time. And some people were grumbling and complaining, and I'm a little drastic. If you didn't like it, the money you save on your property taxes, give it back to the county. Refuse to take it. You will get the tax. Give it back.
We ain't gonna talk about that. They won't talk about that.
I bet they won't pop out.
No,
I bet they won't say a
pop out.
thing.
You're not gonna say anything about that.
And there were so many things, the internet, the back side, people trying to take your property. It's going to make them be able to get you. There were all kinds of stuff. But I've often said, see, the internet is an oxymoron. On one hand, it's the best thing since sliced bread. On the other hand, it's the worst thing ever happened to us. It's all in how you use it.
Yes.
It's how you use it. It's opened up. When I was on the road and consulting, there was no internet. There were no cell phones. If I went into a town, rented a car, before I got to the hotel, if I just had to call my wife or call in to the office, I had to find a payphone. Got a dime, whichever it was, or a quarter, and call. And if I wanted to go someplace, they'd tell me you need to be at this business 7:30 in the morning. It's already 11 o'clock. And I got in my luggage this atlas that's that fat. I'd go out that night take my atlas, plot my route where I won't be confused in the morning.
I still do that.
There was no GPS.
I still do.
That's it.
I still
just plot it.
I still do it, even with the GPS. I go the day before I got to be there. I still go check it out.
Look around, make sure, because GPS sometimes will lead you around.
Now, Lubin, this is the separation, and this is where the gap is. This is why you'll hear older folks say you don't know nothing about life. Okay, so he had to get an atlas out. All right, now atlas. Now let me show you how things change drastically. All right, and you probably know what an atlas is because you're in the military. All right, so here he is looking at the road signs, making sure that that road sign. Nowadays, road signs be down. It might not even be a road sign up there. So this is the difference. So that was his time. Our time growing up, we had MapQuest. Now, MapQuest was an improvement because we could type out exactly where we wanted to go, and it'd give us directions word by word.
Yeah.
Remember, I said word by word, and look how confused he looks when I say MapQuest. Like everybody from 80s babies, we all know what MapQuest is.
Hey,
We would find houses directions. It wasn't by turn right. No, MapQuest said on Highway 95. Look for exit 278. From exit 278 off the off ramp, turn right.
You got to be quick with it too.
Yes.
You got to be because you missed them turns.
You got to read before you get there.
Yeah.
You got to be okay. That's what they talk, and that's when you had a whole bunch of cars that was going slow, and you'll know they from out of town.
Exactly.
Look at the map.
Okay, now this was a piece of paper. This is not on the phone. Now. Right?
I don't even need to look at my phone.
You look, listen, it'll tell you. And the thing is, when parents had to go on a trip, it wasn't I'm gonna book the hotel on my phone. They had to call. Hey, how are you doing? This is Mark. I'm trying to book a room for me and my family. It wasn't no pictures to see. It was all guessing.
Yep.
Because you could have a picture in the magazine or something. Yes, it was called a magazine.
I haven't seen a magazine in so long.
Thank you.
I used to walk in a bar.
Thank you. Them reviews and ratings and stuff.
We didn't have none of that.
I had a story one time when we were, I think it was maybe 1990, 91, and just like what you were talking about, my father had a meeting in Atlanta, and same thing. We called the place and made the reservations. We got there, didn't know, there were no reviews and stuff. You can go look online and you can understand and everything. So we got there, and it was like a sketchy place. I mean, it was a nice area, but I'm not gonna say it was sketchy. I'm just gonna say just something didn't seem right. And my father at the time, being in good sound mind, and just paying attention to the surroundings, and he was just like, as he spoke more with the hotel representative, I'm maybe 6 at the time, and he was just talking with the representative, and he just kept something in his spirit kept telling him, like, something ain't right about this. Something's not right about this place. And sure enough, it was like two guys were kind of sitting back in the corner, just kind of watching and observing and everything. And come to find out, we ended up not staying there. He was just like, something just told him like, no, let's leave. And they did say that the guys were robbing people. They were getting the room numbers, and they were putting them in particular rooms, and they were going in and robbing the people in the rooms.
And we're going to get back to Representative Al, but I got to say this also. Listen, believe it or not, customer service was better back then than what it is now when you got reviews. Not even gonna lie. Now you would find towns. You had to be very careful of what you were going through. Now that did
Sundown.
exist. Yeah. The sundown towns. That's when they really existed. Now, because
Really existed.
yeah. Now listen, word of mouth was how everybody learned anything. And word of mouth was so trustworthy back then, because if you knew that Willie was going to head to Florida, right? So Willie might have mentioned that to his mama. His mama would get on the phone and say, "Hey, Carolyn, my baby's going to Florida and he's taking this route." Those people would say, "Hey, tell him to be careful here." And if he run into any problem, I got my Bobby. That's Baby Joe's nephew. He can stop there. Let me give him his address, and he would have to go with a notepad full of addresses for emergencies. Like there's a difference.
This is real.
That's why there's a disconnect also, because now people your age might not even believe that happened. Like, oh man, it wasn't never like that. What are y'all talking about?
Oh, yeah.
Like they think we in the history books, and this wasn't but 20, 30 years ago.
That's the crazy part. The crazy part.
It wasn't that long ago.
Technology
Wasn't that long
really
ago?
That wasn't that long ago. I used to have, even in the 80s, I could still buy a green book. And green book told you where the black community lived, where you could eat, where to buy gas from, things in certain areas. Because you work in Mississippi, Louisiana, Alabama, you got to know what you're doing. And that's why I learned, even today, I never jump in my car and I never jump out of it. Check the surroundings.
Oh yeah.
Who is around my car? And I want to see for sure before I get out. You know, check all of your perimeters. And that came from being vigilant, because you knew you had to be, because people would disappear.
Yes.
God, I mean, this was serious business, man. Especially if your car looked good, you dressed up, somebody want to know where you going to preach. You ain't supposed to be dressed up unless you preach.
Can you just imagine, can you imagine the mind state and awareness you had to have?
To constantly be on watch, it'd be taxing on the mind.
It would be taxing. And that's a lot of the difference now. People are we're self-absorbed. Okay, I'm just going to tell you, a lot of people are self-absorbed because the only thing that really matters is what's going on in their life.
Oh yeah.
Right? And everybody's so nonchalant about what's going on around them, because whatever's going on around them doesn't count. Right? So nowadays we have to bring that awareness back so we can start appreciating each other. We have to appreciate the fact that we have a representative here that is going out there, that's looking for the best interests of our area. Someone that you can talk to, that's relatable, that will have that conversation, and will have that difficult conversation. You know, not only because he doesn't only just speak to people that he knows that disagree with him. He'll speak to people that he might disagree with, and they will still have a conversation. And they will still be able to be cordial, and they'll still do everything for one another. And that's what we don't have. A lot of that's been lost.
And I not even just with, like, I wouldn't say it's an older generation thing. It's a very young thing too. Like, you can see it all over the internet. I'm not saying the internet's what's real life, but I feel like the way that the internet is heading, it's shaping real life, if that makes sense. And so people tend to have this hive mentality where disagreeing can be detrimental to your mental health, your physical health, your job. And I just feel like it's just become just difficult or scary to have a different set of opinions.
Yes. Yes.
No civility in debate. See, debate should have a certain amount of civility.
Yes.
And when you lose the civility of disagreement, then you've lost a lot. Now, folks feel like whoever hollers the loudest and raises the most heaven should be listened to.
Yes.
You see, but the civility, it's from the old school. You just didn't act like that. And we've lost, as a people, we have lost a lot of civility because a lot of our younger people, present company excluded, I'm sure, have no governor on their tongue, even in the presence of ladies or older people.
Thank you.
That's true.
None.
That is
Respect.
The respect is.
And we are one of the few countries, maybe the only one in the civilized world, that has no respect for our elders.
Yeah, that's where the culture is different. I'm telling you that right now.
Yes.
That don't rock.
It won't rock in the Haitian. Look, it doesn't rock in Africa either.
But
Look, and here in America, I think it's generations. It's been separated by generations. But in other places, especially Africa, let me tell you something. Let's take marital problems, right? If they have marital problems, they're not reaching out to a psychologist or thing like. They're going. The husband will be able to call her mother and her father, and his wife will be able to call his mother and father, or whoever the patriarch or matriarch is of the family at that time, and they would say, "Baby, if you don't get in there," or "Son, what do you think you're doing?" Right? That was respect, and from that grew their stereotypes per se. But to that stereotype, that's not a disrespectful stereotype. A disrespectful stereotype is seeing you and automatically saying, "Oh, well, he's just up to no good."
yeah.
Or if he is successful, he's going to have to sell drugs to get there.
Yeah.
Right? We have trailblazers like Unc Al was told me earlier. We had a sheriff. Could you tell us about that sheriff, the first black sheriff of McIntosh?
Yes, Charles Chunk Jones. He died a few days ago, and he was a great guy. 12 years as sheriff of McIntosh County, and it was quite an inspiration for young people in that county to see a sheriff that looked like them. Chunk was a great guy, and my heart goes out to his family because, you see, when we leave a void now, the bench is not as strong as it used to be. Who's going to jump up and take the field?
Correct.
So when you got a weak bench, you got a weak team.
Yes.
Because, everybody needs a break. And so, but Chunk's legacy will live on. He was a great guy, great standards, did a good job in law enforcement, and was a friend of most people.
Wow. Do you know by any chance what age he was when he passed?
Chunk was 74.
Wow.
He was 74 years old. And about 4 or 5 years ago, I eulogized the first African-American deputy sheriff in McIntosh County. His son was just elected, DK was just elected sheriff of McIntosh County.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I eulogized his father, and a month later eulogized his brother. And TK, who is a retired major with the Georgia State Patrol, he was in charge of Capitol Security. I saw him every day, but I knew him for years. He is now the sheriff of McIntosh County, and it's a great thing. And the interesting thing about it is McIntosh County voters now only about 35-40% of the vote. When Chunk was elected, they were 55 or 60%. But the numbers have changed, and African Americans 35-40% down there. But Chunk was elected, the sheriff, and so there's hope.
Yes. Yes. Well, I see we had some comments. Amanda Marie said they will record and not get involved. Very disturbing. And the loudest is right. And to have the elders' advice and prayer. So that would have a lot that would go on. But to hear you say that a trailblazer and in his family, it sprouted up a tree.
Legacy. Yeah.
It's a legacy, correct. And now you said his son?
Yeah, the son of the first black deputy is now the second black sheriff.
Okay. Wow.
TK King, great guy. Thornell King is his name, but wonderful guy, did a great job with Georgia State Patrol, going to the rank of major, probably number 4 or 5 in the high ranks of the Georgia State Patrol.
Oh, wow.
Wonderful guy, and I look forward to it, to him being sheriff. But I'm going to miss Chunk. He was a dear friend. We had many good days together. Heck of a guy, super guy.
Wow. Just being able to know that these folks had to endure things at such a time to where
exactly,
like you can just imagine the looks this guy was getting when he was running for sheriff.
That's and the people that can strive off of negativity for so long, you're just a different breed, because it eats at you no matter how strong you think you are.
But it's that support system.
That I have it.
That
Say that
support
again.
system.
The what?
That support system.
And
To have it.
and that's how you can destroy a people is you take away the support systems. So you see how important it is.
Took
Yeah.
dollars away from them homes, and then what the village do? Run around with their head cut off, and what they do? Grabbed them all up, took them on a ship, and said, "We're going across the sea and put you to work."
Yeah, but the support systems. Like you said, a weak bench. That's that foundation.
Back and see, it bothers me when we're flamboyant, our kids, who, by the way, can't do math, but can cut out a gram in a hurry.
Yes.
And it's good you don't know. We won't tell you about the gram. It tells me a lot about you. Thank God you don't know. But you see, when you have the abilities, but you have now consumed your life in flash and talk, and with no real tools to operate in another world. And it bothers me terrifically that we can out-rap, out-dance, out-sport anybody. Only place we get lost is at the bank.
Yes.
You broke. You're the slickest thing on the block, but you broke.
Yes.
You see, with no real... And that does not have to be, and it's never too late. And somehow we have to turn that around, and we have to stop. We should mentor young men and young women, and not need a lot of praise for mentoring, which you should be doing. You gotta show people a lifestyle. You gotta quit trying to tell folk how to live, and you live right, and let them want to emulate you.
Yeah.
See, that's why I don't get hung up on style. I don't get hung up on kids. I hear a lot of preachers preach about the sagging pants. I don't like them, but so what? If you wear yours right long enough, they'll pull theirs up.
Yeah.
Just show them, and worrying about young girls in short skirts. I speak about this all the time. So some of you older women wore yours short when your legs wasn't messed up. So, I mean, let folk be young.
Yes.
My grandmother didn't like the Temptations. She didn't like James Brown and all that sin music. Everybody has their phase. Let folk live and prepare them for when they come out of the phase, that they'll be all right.
Yeah, because like you say, if they hang around you long enough, they go adopt to to how you dress, how you act, or they're gonna fall off.
Dang.
And,
Show them.
Y'all don't know. Y'all just said a mouthful, because when we look at today's society, all of our leaders are entertainers. I'm talking about us now. Entertainers. People that's out there in the spot dancing, just entertainment, period. Sports.
Know nothing about nothing but consent.
Yes. And why aren't we emulating our leaders like Representative Owl? Why isn't he on the grand stage up there just like entertainers when he's doing more for the community than they'll ever do with their money? We don't have leaders anymore. So what are we emulating?
Look at what they do to rallying votes. No offense, but if you're the one trying to hire pop stars in order to sway votes instead of actually saying what you're doing better for the community, I'm not saying which they aren't.
Good point. I know what you're saying.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? I ain't gonna say no names, but it's just,
I get what you're saying. It's but like we've been saying the whole time, the stereotypes. And see, people are basing things off of it. You know what I'm saying? Like, hey, well, we know that they like that because that's what they emulate. That's how people are going to approach you. You get what I'm saying? So if, like myself, you know, I try to stay maintained, stay, you know, well dressed. If kids saw me now, they'd probably be like, "Oh, that's lame." You know what I'm saying? He don't have on the Jordans because I don't like Jordans like that. But I like hard leather shoes. I like snakeskin boots. You know, ostrich. You get me up. You know.
Well,
what were you saying? Oh.
I think my thing is with that, right? You know, I guess it's kind of like with the old saying, you know, all money ain't good money, right?
Right.
So all people that you may want to connect to and follow may not be, you know, who you need. You may
Be
need
the right way.
just those few individuals that really truly, you know, see who you really are and may really want to tap into, you know, what you have to offer to give them, rather than, you know, you're going through the noise of all these. You can have so many people following you, right? But your true people that's really going to stand beside you and that's really going to rock with you,
Yes.
they may be in the back, that you need to move all the other people out of the way so that you can get to them.
Get to them.
Wow, you said something there also, because it's been times where in my life the people I might have closest to me and the people that I thought were my enemies were the people that was looking out better for me than my friend. When you grow up, you start learning
You realize that.
because it ain't no, yeah, man, you need to do that. They gonna tell you, hey, nah, bro, you wrong. Yeah.
I almost learned the hard way like that. That's how I almost died.
Huh?
Yeah.
What happened?
The way you said, you think your friends are your friends until you realize they ain't your friends.
Yes.
And some people lose their lives that way.
Well, you know, my biggest thing, what I always tell people, you know, friends are not just there for popularity. They're not there to be a yes person.
Yes.
These people that are truly your friends are going to have your best interests at heart. They're going to tell you when you're doing right, and they're also going to tell you when you're doing wrong.
That's right.
But it's out of love, and it's out of the best interest for you. That's when we close back to
We don't know love no more. If you don't agree with me, Willie,
exactly.
you ain't. Oh, so you just gonna tell me I'm wrong? Look, you just gonna tell me I'm wrong, Lubin? Now you don't agree with me.
I'm gonna tell you when you're wrong, because
No.
at the end of the day, I care for your well-being, and I know. I mean, you know, we have these conversations all the time.
Yes.
Like I'm gonna tell you, I'm gonna. Whatever I can do to look out for you on your behalf, maybe I'm seeing things that you're not seeing because you're blinded by
Too
your
close
own,
to it.
you know
Yep.
what I'm saying, reality. So I'm seeing the other people. I'm seeing the what how do they say it? You can't see the trees before the forest.
That's right.
You know,
I'm deep in the forest.
Yeah,
See the tree.
I'm looking at it from a higher level. I'm like, he's going this way. You don't need to go this way. Let me pull him back. No, I need to go this way. I need to go. No. I'm telling you, no, you not need to go this way, because I've already seen that for you.
Yes.
Because anybody else was just like, well, I don't care. You know.
Yeah, let him do what he do.
You know.
He should have what he have anyway. I'm kind of slick jealous. Look,
Yeah.
people to be slick jealous of you now.
Yeah, they will.
That's definitely true.
Sure.
I'm not gonna lie to you. That's definitely true.
No, because we're getting on into the program. We're about to get to our messages, and also Representative Al Williams has some more things he wants to talk about with you and your experience in the military. How long have you been in Liberty County?
For about 7 months.
7 months. How because I know a lot of your life was probably on base, but as you come out into the community, how do you like the vibe? How is everything?
Well, I grew up in Florida. Growing up in Florida, didn't have transportation besides the public transportation. And here, being in Hinesville, there's no public transportation. So I don't know how I would have been able to really get around like that. But because I do have a vehicle, I've met cool people that I never thought I'd probably ever meet. On top of that, I met a lot of inspirational people that I thought I would probably never meet. And I don't know, it just seems more relaxed, more chill, and everything's really close by when it comes to food, so that isn't necessarily an issue. I think that's the reason why Fort Lauderdale has the transportation. Everything's quite a distance. But it ain't too bad. It's pretty cool. The air quality is better. Just to make sure I don't lie to you, but yeah.
Okay. Well, look, we're glad to have you.
Yes.
Glad to have you, and thank you for your service.
Yes.
I really do. Because you never know what happens, and people are out here, and they're here for our protection. You know, and with you being as young as you are and not knowing what color purple is, it really tells me how much you care about me. You don't even.
It's in a musical last year. It's within a year. The musical came out.
Yes.
The movie is quite old, but yeah, it's.
All right.
You go.
I will watch the movie eventually.
You can watch the color.
Yes,
purple.
watch the. You don't necessarily watch the one they have out now. Don't go to.
You want to watch the original?
Watch the old
with
one.
Danny Glover and
And
Whoopi
Whoopi
Goldberg.
Yeah, that's what you want to watch.
Hey, you can leave when you see all that. That's when you told hop on the beat, and you see. Do you do right by me? When you see all of that, yes, all this is in the movie.
Whoopi Goldberg. Do you do right by me?
Maybe I saw a clip. I don't know.
You don't remember that part?
No, but I remember something like this.
Oh, okay.
On the side, something like that.
Wait, look, you are Haitian.
Oh God, you're right. You're probably right.
Man. Oh man,
When you see this movie, you're gonna understand a lot of stereotypes, and like from back in the day of what they saw as the characterization of our culture.
So and you don't have to answer me. Like, what year you were born? Like what?
Oh Lord,
2000. 2000.
Yes.
Okay.
you guessed that one.
No, I'm just and I'm just trying to think about like how far back, because the movie is old.
Yeah, it is really old.
Like
Goes
the
back
movie
a
is,
while.
But you would think that was something that a teacher would have brought up in class or something.
I watched what's that movie with the guy? He treated his son pretty bad. He joined the Marines.
Antoine Fisher? The Marines.
He joined the Marines, but like he wanted to play football, but his dad told him no, he had to get a job. And he put a fence, and then it was a whole story about him fencing.
Oh, fence with fences. Fencing
With Denzel Washington.
Yeah, with the
fencing.
that dude.
Yeah,
with the,
that was in 2018.
oh dang!
Brand new.
Brand new.
That was fences or something like that.
Fences, yeah. See, what we're talking about, like they had an original movie. I think the original movie is called Fences also.
Yeah.
It just wasn't with Denzel Washington.
Yeah.
Have you at least seen the one, what am I talking about? Take the chains off the doors, Mr. Charles. What is it?
Higher learning, not higher
Not
learning.
higher learning. Lean on Me.
Lean on Me.
Have you ever seen Lean on Me? Well, you know what? We're gonna have to have an educational.
We're gonna have a movie
You gotta
night.
get him a library of movies.
Yeah,
Movie night.
Because I'm about to take one of your cards away from you. I don't
Please let him watch Harlem Nights.
What is it?
You gotta watch Harlem Nights.
Harlem Nights. Look, oh my God.
My pinky toe.
There it is, Quake. There it is. Man, now you watch Harlem Nights, it's gonna take you through an emotional roller coaster of laughter with tears. You're gonna be excited, you're gonna be sad, and you're gonna be shocked.
I need to write all this.
Harlem Nights. Man, you need to watch Harlem Nights tonight, brother.
Harlem
Some of the
Nights.
sharpest apparel you'll ever see in a movie.
Yes.
Harlem Nights. Please,
What did he say? He say, Willie, come to tomorrow it's gonna be air whooping. When you watch Harlem Nights, that's gonna set you up for the rest of it.
That is
I
iconic.
think-
Yes.
Harlem Nights is
And
iconic.
I don't know. Have you seen Boys in the Hood?
I have, but it was like a really long time ago.
Oh God.
Okay,
Long
okay.
time ago, he had to be like 2.
I was like 8, 9, 10.
Oh Lord.
But see,
Oh, okay, yeah.
Here's
You
the
need to
thing.
watch it again to get the real, you know, the.
but you see, my boys, you couldn't watch Boys in the Hood until they got 8, 9. Man, I had a sense on my television that you wouldn't believe. Because I didn't need you, because I knew you would learn on your own one day, but I didn't need to teach you how to cuss.
Yeah. Right.
You know?
Right.
And I didn't teach you how to deal dope. I wanted another thing, so there was some things off limit in my house. And that was the rule. And from when I was a boy, cowboy and Indians was everything you played. I have 5 boys. I never bought a weapon for them growing up. Never. I never wanted them to play violent games. So I never bought them cap pistols and all that foolishness.
You sound like a
Never did. There's enough of that out there. I want to
Yes.
get you something that'll mess with your mind.
Your mind.
Tickle your mind.
You know, and it's funny you said it, and I think I've said this before on the show. You know, when I was growing up, my parents used to always tell me when I was younger, it was like, there's some places that you shouldn't go, and there's some things you couldn't see that you shouldn't see.
Goodness.
And I'm like, why do they keep telling me this?
They
Like,
tell you.
why do they keep telling
Man,
me that?
parents just passed it down. You tell me there's some places don't go, and they name the community. Don't go over there. I mean, and the thing about it, as soon as I got old enough,
Exactly. But as you get old, you realize why they said those things, because your mind, your mind is the most powerful muscle in your body. Your mind can make you believe things that are actually not there.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Like your mind can play tricks on you. You know, I watch the little things online. They be like, oh, you know, look at it this way, and the shape will move a certain way. But then they were like, you know, look at it, you know, count to 3 and close your eyes and do this, and it'll change different. And it's just like your mind is really, you know, messing with you. So you can't always trust what you see. So
half of what you hear.
you know, yeah, exactly. So,
Yeah. You ever see hear no evil, speak no evil?
Yeah.
What was it? Is hear no evil, speak no evil, see no evil, right?
Who was the
Yeah,
star
yeah.
in that show?
See,
It was,
yeah, that's it.
Okay. See no evil, speak no evil,
Hear no evil.
yeah.
Yeah, but yeah, your mind. You know, there's some things that people and from being in the military and everything. You know, it's just some things that some people they can't cope with it because things that they've seen.
Right.
You know, and messes with them. You know,
So hang with you there, because in addition to being the strongest, mine is so, but it's also very sensitive.
Yeah.
So things get embedded in your brain that you saw, it affects your mental health.
Yes.
1,000%.
It's a difficult situation. Let me ask you and say this, and I apologize because this is a great show, but
You gotta go.
I'm gonna have to go. But I did not want to leave without mentioning the tragedy at Sapelo Island.
Yes.
Yes. Okay.
Sapelo is one of the last of the outer islands where the Gullah Geechee culture still survives. It's about a 30-minute boat ride over, and on October 26th, they were celebrating the Gullah Geechee culture, and many people were over there, and 40 people was on a walkway getting back on the boat, and the walkway collapsed, and 20 people ended up in the water. And of these 20 people, 7 died, and a lot of people got injured very, very seriously. And we're doing a lot of things. I'm kind of the point person for the legislature to see what kind of improvements can we make, what should have been done
inspections.
Yes, and
Yes.
we need to make sure that it never happens again. An engineer, the walkway was only 2.5 years old. An engineer
okay, I
said
didn't-
Wait, it was
I
only
didn't know that.
2.5 years old.
what?
And,
crazy.
And an engineer said it should have been able to hold 200 people, but 40 people made it collapse. It was definitely, there's some problems with design or construction, but there's no way in the world a 2.5-year-old walkway
Exactly.
should collapse. But it put 20 people in the water, and the families, it's a sad situation. I'm going to honor these families on the 12th of January, the Sunday before the session opens in Atlanta. I am honoring all of them at a prayer convocation. Got to contact a lot of families. I've been talking to some, but it was a tragic situation, and the people, 6 of them were African Americans and 1 white guy who was a chaplain for the Department of Natural Resources. It's a sad situation, but all things work together for good. So something good will come out of this. Better inspections, better requirements, whatever it takes. But I seldom missed one of those celebrations. I've missed some, but I didn't make it this time. I was busy and I didn't go. Who's to say?
Wow.
But for the grace of God, that, But I will say this: if it had collapsed with me, even at my age, I'd have been the second person to walk on water because I was coming out of there.
You up out there. Look, before you leave, I want to thank you, but we're going to go ahead and close out also. Willie, is there anything you want to tell our kings and queens today?
Just with everything that's going on now in the world, and with elections and people mental health, and everything, everybody's in such we're in a hurry.
Yeah.
We're in a hurry, about everything, and just to your point, what you're saying is we gotta slow down and also show grace to people. You don't know what someone is going through.
Fact.
You don't really understand, the problem. And sometimes, I think you touched on this earlier in the show. We're so self-absorbed that, there's people that's hurting right in front of you or right beside you, and because you're so in tune with yourself, you don't see the signs, you don't see the hurt, and just before you have someone cut you off in line or whatever the case may be, just stop and think about what that person may be dealing with,
Okay.
Before you judge.
Right.
Anything you want to tell the good folks of Liberty County, our kings and queens tonight?
First, let me thank you, as always, for this podcast, and thank each of you for allowing me to be here with you.
Thank you.
There is a struggle. The struggle is called life, and there are a couple of roads can be picked. One of them will take you to certain destruction. The other opens up a lot of paths. And all the young kings and queens that are out there, choose the right road. And always remember that even the wrong road is not a one-way street.
Wow.
You can turn around and come back and get on the right road.
Mm-hmm.
And I'd like to invite you, young man, and anyone else, every first Saturday, I have a community meeting at your church, Mark, in the annex at 8 o'clock in the morning, where we're not formally organized. We don't elect officers. I convene. But what we do is we discuss issues and recommendations for solutions, and sometimes direction to somebody who's got a group that can help. Invite each of you to come and participate. We need your mind. See, we need more of the conversation. A conversation like this and other conversations. We need to have a conversation. We got to take our eyes off the internet for a minute and off the games and all of that. And we've got to learn that there's more to life besides the NBA, the NFL, Major League Baseball, the latest show, the raps and all, that there is another life. And then we have to pledge that we're not only going, but we're going to take somebody with us. I'm always thankful to be here.
Yes, sir.
And I try to learn as much as I can. And both of you have supplied a strong listening moment for me. And Mark, as always, thank you for what you do in this community.
Thank you.
And keep on punching, man.
No,
Yes, sir. Look, Lubin, we're going to get your last thoughts and we're going to sign out. Is there anything you want to tell the people?
First of all, I want to thank you for bringing me on. I ain't gonna lie, this is something I would have never thought I'd ever see myself doing, being in front of a camera. Second thing is, the world judges you already, so judging yourself on top of that, I just feel like it's insane. You should just be yourself no matter what. And anything in this world you can achieve, just gotta strive, gotta push. Don't let nothing hold you back, even if you have to cut even family members off. You just gotta do what you gotta do to better yourself. Obviously, Yeah.
That's awesome. Representative Al Williams, thank you so much, and you can get on to me because he did stay on. Man, when you're around him, man,
I know.
This is just the greatness. I apologize for that. Also, Kings and Queens, you've heard many things today. Take away everything good and everything that you didn't understand, leave it right beside you because you might want to pick it up later. This is King Conda, the People's Champ, with King Brooks, Mr. Lubin, and Representative Al Williams. Thank you, Kings and Queens, and we're out.
All right. That's great. That's good. You don't know how strong these things are until you take them off.